There was something deeply unsettling about the moment Josslyn realized the silence around her wasn't normal silence anymore. It wasn't just quiet. It felt buried. Like the walls themselves were swallowing sound. And I can't stop thinking about that because the second she started touching those cold stone walls, tracing every crack with her hands, it stopped feeling like a normal kidnapping storyline to me. It started feeling older than that, darker. Because if you really pay attention to what's happening here, Josslyn isn't just trapped in some random room. She's buried underneath Windermere, underneath Sidwell's castle. And honestly, the more I think about it, the more I feel like this place has been hiding things for years. Josslyn doesn't know where she is yet. Not fully. She can't contact anyone. No phone, no windows, no sense of time. Day and night don't exist down there. And maybe I'm overthinking this, but that detail matters to me more than anything else. Because taking away someone's sense of time, that's psychological warfare. That's how you break people slowly. Except Cassius made one massive mistake. He assumed Josslyn would break the same way Anna did. And honestly, I think that arrogance might destroy him. Because Anna wasn't thinking clearly when she was trapped there. We know Cullum kept drugging her, pumping her full of paranoia-inducing injections until she could barely trust her own mind. Anna wasn't fighting the room anymore. She was fighting herself. That's completely different from what Josslyn is experiencing now. Josslyn is scared, sure, but she's lucid, and that changes everything. You can almost feel her brain refusing to stop moving. Even in panic, she's observing things, counting steps, looking for patterns, testing walls, watching the behavior of the guards. That curiosity has always been part of her character, but here it feels amplified, sharper, like survival itself is waking something up inside her. And then there's that yellow ladder. God, I keep coming back to that ladder. Because at first glance, it sounds meaningless. Just some strange industrial structure in the corner of a prison cell. No visible destination. No obvious purpose. But soap operas never place details like that accidentally, especially not in a place designed to feel hopeless. Something about it feels wrong to me. Or maybe too deliberate. Josslyn notices it because, of course she does. She notices the one thing in the room that doesn't fully belong. And I honestly think the second she touched that ladder, the entire story shifted direction. Cassius believes there's no escape because technically there isn't one. One door. No windows. Underground structure. Guards outside. Sidwell's men everywhere. From his perspective, the prison is perfect. But if you ask me, the prison may have been designed for containment, not permanence. And that's an important difference because old places like Windermere always seem to have hidden architecture, secret tunnels, escape routes, underground passages. This show has trained us for years to expect hidden pathways beneath wealthy estates and islands. So when this yellow ladder appears, leading downward instead of upward, I don't think that's random at all. Actually, I think that's the point. The ladder leading deeper underground feels symbolic almost. Like Josslyn has to descend further into darkness before she finds the truth. And I know that sounds dramatic, but there's something almost mythological about this setup now. She thinks escape should mean climbing upward toward light, but instead, the only possible path takes her further down. Into something worse. Or maybe into something hidden. That's the part I can't shake. Because what if the ladder doesn't lead to another prison at all? What if it leads to one of those old rumored tunnel systems beneath the island? I remember years of speculation about Windermere having emergency escape routes connected to the mainland, smuggling paths, secret exits, hidden docks. The kind of stories everyone dismisses until suddenly they're real. And honestly, the fact that the ladder goes down instead of up almost supports that theory. Underground tunnels beneath islands would naturally descend first before stretching outward. But then again, there's another possibility that honestly terrifies me more. What if Josslyn follows that ladder expecting freedom and instead finds other prisoners? Because the clues are starting to pile up now. And I don't think that's accidental either. The upcoming moment where Josslyn grabs a chair and attacks someone, possibly Cassius himself, feels important for more than just the escape attempt. I think that scene matters because it proves Josslyn is reaching a point where desperation overrides caution. She's willing to gamble now, but the obvious escape route is impossible. The castle is crawling with Sidwell's people, armed guards outside. No knowledge of the island layout. Even if she gets through one hallway, where does she go next? She'd never make it far, which means the ladder becomes the only realistic option. And that's where things get really interesting to me. Because I can absolutely see Josslyn climbing downward thinking she's making a terrible mistake. I can almost hear that panic building in her head. Every step lower probably feels like surrender instead of escape. And yet she keeps going because there's literally nothing else left. That kind of fear creates incredible storytelling when it's done right. And then maybe she finds another cell, not an empty one, occupied. Look, I could be completely wrong here, but I cannot stop thinking about Jason. Everybody currently believes he's being held somewhere connected to the WSB. That's the accepted narrative. But the truth may be more complicated than it looks, because this storyline keeps circling back to concealment and misdirection. What if Jason was never moved into some sophisticated government black site at all? What if Sidwell's castle has been the real holding place this entire time? Hidden beneath everyone's noses because nobody would think to look there anymore. And if Josslyn opens that cell door and finds Jason, honestly, that changes everything instantly. Not just physically, emotionally too. Because Jason represents survival in this world, stability, protection. The second Josslyn realizes she's not alone anymore, the entire energy shifts. Fear becomes strategy. But it may not stop with Jason. I keep wondering about Anna too. Her transfer to another hospital already felt suspicious to me. Too vague. Too convenient. And knowing Cullum's involvement, I can absolutely imagine a scenario where Anna was secretly rerouted right back into captivity instead of medical treatment. That would be horrifying, honestly. Anna escaping mentally once already, only to wake up back inside the same nightmare? There's something cruelly poetic about that possibility. And then there's the skeleton. If that really happens, if Josslyn discovers human remains in one of those cells, I think the entire tone of this story changes permanently. Especially if there's an old police uniform nearby. Because immediately my brain went to Nathan, and maybe I'm reading too deeply into it, but soap operas love unresolved ghosts. They love hidden deaths, forgotten victims. The idea that Nathan's remains could have been discarded beneath Windermere all this time feels insane, but also weirdly possible within this world. Can you imagine Josslyn finding that? A literal reminder that some people never escape those cells. That some people were simply erased. I honestly think that discovery would hit harder than any physical threat because suddenly the prison stops being temporary. It becomes historical, systematic. Like this place has consumed people before. And if that realization lands right as Jason and Anna potentially reunite with Josslyn, then the escape becomes more than survival. It becomes exposure. Truth coming to the surface. Still, I keep asking myself one thing. What if the real danger isn't getting out of Windermere? What if the real danger is discovering why Sidwell kept these underground cells operational in the first place? Because prisons like this don't exist unless they've been used repeatedly. And something tells me Josslyn has only seen the beginning of what's hidden underneath that castle.